today's event. I kindly invite Venerable Ajahn Pannakara to say a few words to lay devotees who are present here today. Most Venerable Sir.
Namo Buddhaya, respected Mahasangha. Today, earlier before I came here, there are two lay devotees came to me and asked me a question. On our daily activities, we encounter a lot of problems, especially our own family members. What should we do to stay calm? What should we do to have a peaceful day? And as we all know that we live in this world, we're born as a human being, we encounter a lot of problems. We encounter a lot of difficulties in our daily activities, especially our own family members, our father, mother, brother and sister, husband and wife, and our kids. Not just that, we have work, we have friends, we have co-workers, society around us, always run into problems with them. And I believe this is the reason why human beings suffer so much. And not just that alone, but there are so many things else out there. And we've been suffering with a lot of things for decades, deeply suffering, and we don't know how to get out of that mode, which is suffering mode. As a Buddhist followers, we know, we listen to the Dhamma talk, we listen to all the teachings of the Buddha, talking about mindfulness, talking about loving kindness and compassion all the time. But how do we apply that into our daily activities? This is the question, a big question for all the Buddhist followers. We, as human beings, we breathe in and breathe out every second to keep us alive. But we never pay attention to our breath. We just breathe in and breathe out, just like the way of the robot activate. And that is how we live in this world. We react so quickly, just like we breathe without mindfulness, we breathe without intention. And so when problem comes, we always react without any intention because of the old habit. We have created so many bad habits for ourselves, and we live upon those bad habits, which is the Buddha said, call those are karma. And every time we react, we suffer. Every single time we react, we suffer. Now, how can we end those suffering in our daily activities? Then the answer is mindfulness. How do we apply mindfulness? Mindfulness means that we are mindful with our thought, mindful with our words, and mindful with our actions. But we are multitasking ourselves. And now that we have to stop being multitasking ourselves, we have to do one thing at the time, and then we focus on that just one thing, and then after we finish, we move to another thing to do. Because of this monkey mind, the mind is always jumping here and there rapidly, non-stop. And that is when we are not mindful, and then we just follow in all those thoughts to the past and then chasing the future. We never stay at this present moment, here and now. That is why we need to be mindful with our thoughts. So when any thought pop up, because we have thoughts rising and passing away, with 1 second there are millions and millions of thoughts. So whenever we see the thought, any type of thought, either good or bad, when that thought rise, when that thought pop up in our head, all we need to do is just observe that thought and acknowledge that we have that thought. We live based on the old habit that I mentioned earlier, that we are just react upon the thought popping up. So whenever thought pop up, we just follow that thought until the end of that thought, and then we add more imagination to that thought. That is because we are unmindful. And after following those thoughts, and then it lead to speaking out, that we will say harmful things, hurtful things to the others and ourselves. And then after saying all those harmful things, harmful words to the other people and ourselves, we also take that into actions. All those because we are not mindful. Because we are not mindful, that's why we react on that thought, we react on that words, those speech, and then come out into action, and then we regret. So when there's a thought pop up, we observe that thought, acknowledge that thought, come back to this present moment. We are not following the thought. We are not interacting with that thought. We just simply observe the thought and acknowledge it. And then when we are about to say something to the others, we always have to think twice before we say it. Because when we think twice, thinking that, oh, if I say this is harmful things. If I say this, it's gonna hurt the other, and then I will be regret. And then when we are mindful that way, we will stop saying all those things instead. We will remain silent. Same thing as actions. When we know that when we do this thing, we will hurt the other, then we will not do that. And so based on all that, we have to practice mindfulness every single day in order for us to see the thought, in order for us to see our words and our actions by practicing breathing method every single day. Earlier I mentioned that we are breathing like a robot. Now that we are breathing, we just breathe in and breathe out. Instead of breathing like a robot, now we breathe in with intention, with awareness, and then when we breathe out with awareness, when we breathe in, knowing that there's a breath going in, when we breathe out, knowing that there's a breath going out. We put our concentration within this nostril area and observe the breath going in and out, simply observing that breath going in and out. That's all we need to do. And when there's a breath going in and out, thought will pop up, regardless if you want them or not. Thought always popping up. So when the thought pop up, all you need to do is just observe that thought, acknowledge that thought by saying silently, thought, 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 come back here to the breathing again. Then when you practice that way, you probably observing the breath going in and out, then you hear noises, any type of sound, your husband says something, your mom says something, or your kids cries. Instead of we react with anger, all we need to do is just observe that sound going through this ear and acknowledge that sound as sound, 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 come back to the breathing again. And then we breathe in and breathe out. To a certain amount of time, we feel tired, we feel itchy, we feel painful within this body, this physical body. Usually we will react with anger, or we give up, we don't want to practice anymore. But for the practitioners who always wanted to practice to liberate suffering, that person will just observe that sensation within this body, let's say itchy on the face, or numb by the knee, or pain. We don't react anything. Instead, we just observe that pain, observe that numb or itchy, and silently acknowledge it as sensation or feeling, come back to the breathing again. Just take your time every day to practice mindfulness that way, and then throughout the day, you do anything, you be mindful with it. Let's just say eat, be mindful with eating. Drinking, be mindful with drinking. When you cook, be mindful with cooking. Just do one thing at a time. And one last thing, every morning when we wake up after a long night of rest, usually we will be busy doing so much thing in the morning, but now we need to change that. When we wake up, instead of reach for the phone and checking the phone message or Facebook or anything like that, now we should just make your bed neat and clean on your bed, and then go to the bathroom, do your thing, and then come out. And now this is a very important message that you need to remember. When you come out from the bathroom, get a piece of paper and a pen. Even though you already memorize it, but you still need to get a piece of paper and a pen, write down the statement that I always said, today is going to be my peaceful day. The statement say, today is going to be my peaceful day. After you write that down, read it over and over with our eyes. Just read it silently with your eyes, and then after that, read it out loud. Today is going to be my peaceful day, to tell the universe that today is my day. This is my peaceful day, so that no one in this world can mess it up except ourselves. And after that, all you need to do is just be mindful with your breath for 15 minutes before you go to work, before you go to school, or doing anything else. And then throughout the day, just be mindful with one thing at a time. If you can do that, if you can start your day with just that simple message, today is going to be my peaceful day, when you give yourself that mindset, your days will be always beautiful and peaceful. So I hope that this technique will help you, will support you in this samsara and practice trying to get out of this samsara to attain the nibbana. May you all be well, be happy, and be peaceful.
Sadhu. On this auspicious occasion, may I once again thanks to Venerable Ajahn Pannakara for teaching us the Dhamma of mindfulness